Hello and welcome. This is the Market Trap. I am Agam Akil. What we've seen is a dash for the Nifty towards the mark of 11,000. Among the key gainers today, as one might expect, it is essentially a handful of heavyweights which have dragged the indices higher, and Reliance Industries is right at the top of that list, advancing by another 4.5%. It's followed by Kotak Mahindra Bank, also up around 2% on its earnings largely. We have a lot of support from some of your other heavyweights like Infosys and HDFC Bank, which have also advanced in trade. Our Asian Paints up 1.5%. It's going to announce its earnings tomorrow. On the losing end, weakness in Hero MotoCorp. Yes Bank continuing to show more weakness. Wipro down 2.5%, but it was off day's lows, and some weakness in Indian Oil Corp and Maruti Suzuki too. In the broader markets, such as the NSE 500 index, we have one gainer for two losers, and Sun Pharma Advance gaining 18%, perhaps in tandem with its parent Sun Pharma. Lind India gaining 9%. ITI is also up as much as 6%. We have Hardco, United Breweries, as well as something like a Take Solutions and Time Technoplus, all advancing by over 4% in trade today. Philips Carbon Black, on the other hand, continuing to decline. South Indian Bank and Central Bank, along with Union Bank, all these three counters looking at losses of anywhere between 7 to 8% today, and of course some weakness in IFP Industries as well. But let's get in our markets editor on that note, Neeraj Shah, who joins us for a perspective. Neeraj, of course we've seen that dash towards 11,000, but it's largely on account of a handful of heavyweights.
Yeah, and shorn of Reliance, frankly. Reliance contributed 43.5, right, out of the 87 points. Yeah. And 45 points on the negative side. So shorn of Reliance, the index was flat, absolutely flat, and the market breadth kind of gave that away, because right from the start of the show, countdown, which was about 2, the market breadth was adverse, and it only became worse off as the duration of the last 1.5 hours went on. World markets too, not the prettiest. Dow futures as we speak were about 0.5% lower, so there is weakness in the world markets. But yeah, it just looked a tired and jaded market in the session today, honestly. And if I can just bring up one chart out here, Agam, with your permission, if I can just pull up the Nifty IT index and just show you that there is a bit of a resistance zones that seems to be running into as well. Right here, if you see, this is the level that the 100-day moving average at which this Nifty IT index at 4 instances in the past 6 months has found stiff resistance. It's right at that mark. Won't be surprised if there is some bit of supply that comes in at these levels as well, because the likes of Infi, etc., the last few days have done really well. It's only extent to which they can go on the kind of numbers that they've come out with. So Reliance has done 9%. You don't know how much more it can do. So a slew of heavyweights might start, I mean, if not already, then start pulling back, and that might just have a pressure. Might be too soon, really. You can have the markets go up today and surprise you, but today's market wasn't the one that gave you a lot of confidence, as we said, and as I think you said as well, shorn of Reliance. It was an absolutely flat day. Fair
enough, and that is actually a very critical point that you made, Neeraj, and I agree with you there. So that is, of course, one of the other things that we should keep an eye on. But Neeraj, thank you for that perspective here. Of course, something important emerging out of that particular line graph as well. But let's bring in a market expert. We have Himen Kapadia, to tell us about the levels that we can keep an eye on. Himen, thanks for joining us. The Nifty at around 10,960 odd. Where do we go from here?
Thank you for having me, Agam. I'll parrot Neeraj's line. Reliance is about 15% in the last 7 trading sessions. Minus that, we'll be 10.8.
Right.
So it's a very narrow move, Agam. I'm not sure how sustainable this is going to be. Obviously, if you look at the open interest, the 11,000 OI was around 50 lakh, which has come down by 10-12 lakhs. The range has shifted higher. The maximum put OI has shifted higher from 10,500 to 10,700 and maybe 800. So yes, I think there the open interest reduced, indicating that we are getting ready to take out 11. But how? The Bank Nifty is not participating. The VIX has gone up to 18 today.
Right.
The market breadth isn't good. It's just IT and Reliance. So maybe election, maybe budget countdown, vote on account, either way. But I'm slightly uncomfortable with these levels. Standalone Nifty might still do well, Agam, but it's a very narrow move, so I'm not exactly sure how to read this.
Well, okay, and you would say the same about the Nifty Bank too?
Yes, frankly speaking, okay, it's not done much. We had Kotak going berserk today. HDFC Bank did well.
Yes.
Even then, okay, and the PSU Bank set it off by going down. So frankly speaking, it's been flat to neutral. I mean, if we have to take out 11 decisively, Reliance is beyond a point will consolidate, get tired.
Right.
We'll need Bank Nifty to push the Nifty up. That's not yet happened. So if that moves, Nifty takes out 11. Otherwise, we'll maybe take some more time to consolidate.
Okay, all right. Hey, thank you for joining us and getting us those levels to keep an eye on. But among earnings, and as Heyman and Neeraj have spoken about, Kotak Mahindra Bank announced its earnings today. And well, the numbers did certainly look good, slightly better than consensus. We have Darshan Mehta who's joining us to take us through those numbers. Darshan, how are the numbers looking?
Very good actually. If you're looking at the NI, close to 300 crore beat on the top line on the NI front. That was good, close to 100 crore beat on the bottom line. So that's something that went well. Asset quality surprisingly improved. If you're looking at the asset quality, 2%, 2.07% versus 2.15% GNPA, net NPA of 0.71 versus 0.81. No doubt they had a provision write back of 23 crores, but nevertheless, even if you consider all this, the numbers look decent, and that's why if you see the intraday chart of Kotak Mahindra Bank, that managed to move up significantly. Both on the corporate and retail front, yes, the numbers were good. If you're looking at the net interest margin of 4.33%, that also was in line with what we were anticipating. Decent CASA ratio, decent capital adequacy ratio. So overall, decent and a good set of numbers coming in from Kotak Mahindra Bank, and the counter duly reacting that way.
Of course. Darshan, thank you for joining us and getting us those details on Kotak Mahindra Bank. But among others, there are a bunch of other stocks which were also moving in trade. We have Sharad Dubey, who's now joining us to take us through that list. Sharad, what do you have for us?
Basically today Midcap earnings had come out, so today we will be talking about the earnings today.
Sure.
So Hudco came out with a good set of numbers, and the stock prices hit its highest levels in the month, and also it touched its 52-week high. So the numbers, when I'm going to make you go through the numbers. The net interest income rose by around 23% Agam, which is around 630 crore rupees for this quarter, as well as the bottom line grew by around 27%, and there was almost a 70 crore rise in profits. But however, you should also note that there was a deferred tax of around 56 crore rupees, which was paid in the current quarter.
Right.
Well, apart from this, I think the second stock is GHCL. Phenomenal set of numbers coming out, and a good top line growth we saw of around 21%. Apart from this, this was actually aided by your inorganic chemical segment, which rose by around 12% at around 548 crore rupees, and also the home textile segment grew by around 42% at around 322 crore rupees. This has actually helped the EBITDA margins also to increase by around 50%, and the margins have actually increased by around 300 basis points. So I think these two stocks really played a very good part in the mid-cap area, and let's see what else can come tomorrow.
Fair enough, Sharad. Thanks for joining us and taking us through those numbers. So two other companies from the mid-cap space coming out with a very, very strong set of earnings. But the real question is, can this pace of earnings growth continue, considering the market breadth which has actually deteriorated, specifically in the last 1 hour of trade? But we keep an eye on that one. But that said, don't forget that another big mover in today's day of trade, or perhaps for the lack of it, well, we had Larsen & Toubro as well, even as SEBI has advised the company against their buyback. What can we look forward to when it comes to the management and their plans then? This is what some of the points that they have made. Listen in.
We will study it. We will meet the necessary senior officials of SEBI and understand this much better. And as our goal and our view of management has always been to enhance shareholder value. So from that perspective, whatever needs to be done will be done from that point of view.
Well, that's the management of Larsen & Toubro talking about the possible options available to them. But with that, it's a wrap on the markets. But lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint, and we'll keep bringing you more.